Good afternoon to Dad Teaches, or good evening, wherever you're at. This is a response to SSM's video called I Discovered That My Wife Has Mental Challenges. Should I stay or cut my losses? Alright, so I'm going to take an unpopular opinion here. I want to get this put out because I just saw this come out. I responded in the comments, but I want to make a video on this as well. To summarize what you brought up in your video or in your letter to SSM, you have a wife that is slow, right? You call her the R word or whatnot. I get it, but she's slow. All right. Here's the thing. First and foremost, you understand that she's a Marine, so you know she's trainable, right? She wasn't put out, during basic or whatever the Marines call AIT, your advanced individual training, for uh, failure to comply or failure to adapt, right? So you know she's trainable. All right, for one. Two, you're worried about the financial aspects. Okay. I want to give you a little short secret that everybody knows. Women are generally bad with money. Now, you can make her better with money by giving her strict boundaries, right? Here's money for food, here's the grocery list, and try to fit it within this, right? These are trainable events. Same thing with anything else, right? And then, if you're gonna, after she's out of the Marines, you're still in the Marines, or you're both out and you get a job and so forth, and she's going to be at home or doing whatever, you'll still have to do that. But I want you to realize one thing: the things that you're worried about doing by managing everything, and managing everything from the household to the money to everything else, you're gonna have to do it anyways. Even if she's a competent woman, she'll be able to take some of these things on without you saying something. But you're still going to have to give those checks and balances. You're still going to have to lead this stuff. And if you're single, by the way, you're going to still have to do these things. So I get it. Like, if you guys want to have kids or you want to have kids with her or whatnot, is she competent to do that? Well, I would say yes, because if there's anything built into the DNA of women, is how to care for kids. Now, what I'm saying here is that should you stay with her? I mean, it's ultimately up to you, but you could have found much worse. All right. And what do I mean by that? You could have found any other girl your age at 22 that has bought into the womanist culture, right? She could be bringing a barrel of monkeys with you. This girl is apparently just bringing one monkey, and it's just slowing her down a little bit. So consider that, right? Second, if you're worried about the kids, generally speaking, she wouldn't at least be in the Marine Corps if she was so incapable that she would be harmed to the kids. How do you manage this? Well, first and foremost, I would say you manage it by not wanting too much. And I would say that to anybody all the time anyways, even an old guy like me, old graybeard. So, what do I mean by not wanting too much? Well, especially when you're younger, and depends on what culture you're raised in and so forth, people don't appreciate what they have, and they always want a little bit more. Well, this is where you're going to have to evaluate yourself and figure out, do you appreciate what you have, right? She can be mentored and grown into somebody that's going to be very attentive to you, and it will make her happy that she's pleasing you, and it'll make you happy that she's doing what you've mentored her to do. So, and this is the dichotomy. If you just let her try to figure things out herself, she may become unhappy. She may become resentful because she thinks that you're ignoring her, right? Whereas she wants to be attentive for you. She wants to serve you, right? And in this regard, yeah, are you going to have to put a little effort in? Sure, for the next few years, you're going to have to. But as she grows into her role and you grow into your role, it will become less so, right? But you have to think as a mentor, right? A mentor always thinks that the person that they're mentoring is going to succeed. That's why you spend your time mentoring somebody. You don't just mentor random people off the street, right? You mentor the people that you think can make a difference. And that's period. That's why people won't take on 100 mentors. They take on, or mentees, or whatever. They take on exactly one. A mentor will only take on like one mentee at a time, maybe two, but typically one, because they want to dedicate that time and energy to them. So ultimately, I would stop thinking, or try to stop thinking, or at least evaluate how you're thinking about the future and about what you really want. Not what you want right now, but what do you want in the future as well. Okay? As I said in my comment on SSM's video, this woman is also going to be very susceptible to being taken advantage of. And this is going to be a challenge for you potentially, especially when you're younger. And if you want, she's going to still have to trust you, right? And she's going to eventually feel that she's being taken advantage of. Or you just don't do that, right? You understand where her limitations are, left and right on the range, right? You understand where she's got to be at and what she's got to do, and you stick within that. And you mentor her and you guide her and you praise her for when she does things, right? Like I said, she's a Marine. So even if you guys eat crayons, you're still capable of following basic instructions and being successful at that. Treat it just like that. Whether or not what you do is up to you. Doesn't matter to me. I'll never meet you, chances are, and so forth. But you have to not look at where you're at right now. You have to look at the next 20 years from now, right? Where you plan on being there, and how can you make all that successful? Now, is her being slow? Is that the worst thing that could happen? Fuck no, Jesus, dude. If you think it is, then you haven't been around enough women out there. However, if it's just too much for you to handle, then you make your decision. I'm gonna say though that an attentive woman that is given boundaries and given ways to succeed, she'll try to succeed and she'll try to make you happy, and you will have a fulfilling life with her. Chances are, and just go with that. I would hate for you to have a little piece of regret thinking that the best woman that you ever had was somebody that you thought could have been better. Everybody can always be better, and just because you're educated and she's not doesn't mean a thing. Doesn't mean a thing, right? I mean, how many times if you've watched any of these men's channels, men don't care about their education, how much money they bring in. They want a woman that's caring, attentive, can be a good parent, and a partner to you. Now, if she can't be a good partner to you, you have to define what a partner is for. And I would say before you ever make any decisions, you articulate clearly what you want with her and figure out if she's capable of doing that. And she should have some input on it too as well. I think you potentially could be looking at a gift horse in the mouth here. Okay, she's not smart. Well, I'm going to tell you a little secret here, Joe. A lot of women really aren't. They pretend to be. They're loudmouth. They're aggressive, and people will capitulate to them because they're so freaking aggressive and loudmouth. They capitulate to get them away from them, right? Or other guys are gonna take that sexual aggression from them, use them, and toss them away. Is that what you want too? Do you just want to sleep around with all these fucking hoes? Because if you're around the military base, I guarantee you can pick them up dime a dozen. Figure out what you want. Figure out the pros and cons. Have a discussion with her on how she can meet your goals, your requirements, and so forth, and how she can fit into that with her. Okay? I mean, so that's where you don't come to like a YouTube channel and ask for guidance, but instead you have to go over your own insecurities and talk to her about that and let her have some input and feedback on her, and even let her know your concerns. Right? You have a potential. You have such a great potential here to have something that I think most men would probably want. Okay? So she has a couple downsides. What are her upsides? And that's what I'm going to say for this. Okay. You have a good day, Marine.